This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Open phones this hour. The phone number is 888-825-5225. You can get in if you dial at this moment. That's 888-825-5225. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show is my co-host today. Open phones, again, at 888-825-5225. We're going to be talking about your relationships, talking about mental health, about jobs, about career, about money. We're going to talk about you right in front of you. So, John, you and I were actually talking earlier this morning in a meeting, discussing things around your new book coming out, that with all the wackiness happening in the world, that, your book and some of the materials that you're putting out are all about dealing with your past. Own your past, change your future is the title of the new book. But this idea that things that have happened to me as an individual, or to you guys out there as an individual, the trauma that you experienced during COVID, or the trauma you experienced from family, or the trauma you experienced from a job, or whatever trauma, wherever it was, that's kind of like one set of anxiety-inducing things. You call them bricks in the backpack, right? And then there's a whole nother set of anxiety-inducing things. And both of these affect money, they affect job, they affect marriage, because it affects mental health, basically. But the anxiety-inducing trauma-type things are, stuff like Russia and Ukraine, stuff like out-of-control inflation. Used cars are going up, right? Which makes me think I'm in a cartoon or something. Instead of real life, this must be a Pixar movie. How do used cars go up? It's impossible. And, supply chain stuff is just bizarre. Just trying to get something purchased and get it shipped to you is crazy. So people are experiencing, environmental type things that are impacting us. The negative news, we'll just call it. And then you got things that are individual to you in your life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Two different buckets. Yeah. How do you deal with those different buckets?
I was on an interview yesterday and talking about this exact thing, and what I told the guy was, man, I tell people for a living to get off your devices. That's one of my cornerstone messages. Get off your devices and be with real people. And I found myself yesterday, I got up at 5 a.m. to go exercise and do my morning routine like I always do. And the first thing I did was pulled out my phone to see if Putin had invaded. And instead of looking at it and seeing there's tension and closing it and going about my day, I sat there and went to this news site and this news site, this news site.
So Alice went down a rabbit hole, huh?
Yes, and I missed my workout. I missed everything. I grabbed coffee, and I was able to high-five my kids, and I head out the door. Instead of, and here's the thing, you know what I can control about what Putin's doing? Zero. Nothing. There's not a thing I can do about that. But
no one else can either, by the way.
There you go. What I could do was, I could have got my exercise in. I could have made my wife's coffee and brought it to her, because I know that little tiny acts of service when I'm stressed out helps calm me down. I could have written a note to my kids and said, hey, I got an early morning of media hits. I love you guys. I miss you. I could have done some things that I know bring me peace and bring my anxiety level down. Instead, I fed it. And so what I tell everybody to do is look at the things in your life you can control and lean in on those and literally use the off button on some of these things. You can check on Russia once or twice a day, and that's it. Nothing else is going to change. And if it does, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Yeah. Or the inflation, or get your house in order.
Unless you're on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, you don't need to be riding it all day long.
You can't ride it all day long. And here's the thing.
Because it'll ride you.
It will bury you. It will bury you. My heart rate is up as though America's getting shelled right now. And we're not, right? We're not. And so, man, take care of the people in your area. Take care of you. And I'm not saying stick your head in the sand and avoid it. No, this is a worldwide issue. We all need to be in the know on this. But get in the know and then get back out. Don't go swimming and bathing in the cesspool, right? Get what you need and then get out of there, man. And then deal with your people in your life.
Yeah, the problem is inputs matter. And if
incredibly
if all you do is feed, and that includes who you hang around with, it includes what you read, it includes your screen time,
what you watch,
it includes if you're doing social media or you're not doing social media, it includes podcasts.
You get off work and you listen to a murder podcast on the way home just so you can get to Law and Order SVU, right?
Yeah.
For dinner, like you're just feeding yourself this stuff.
Yeah, inputs matter because if all your inputs are crap, your brain's crap.
Your brain is terrified all day. It's fight or flight all day, all day. And then a real thing shows up like inflation. Like you go to the grocery store and you look at your budget and say, oh, I got to make some choices on meat or vegetables this month. That's a real thing that you need space and capacity in your mind and body to be able to handle those issues that is taken up by other fake drama, right? It's just going and going and going and going and going.
So you do really need to identify causes of stress and put them in one of two buckets: things I can do something about, things I can't.
That's right.
Things I can't, you need to limit the inputs.
Absolutely. All day, every day. Just stop.
I had a friend watching CNN, watching Fox all day long. I think he's in a rubber room now.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your only input is a 24-hour news cycle all day long, 100% of it is hyped, exaggerated, and bad.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It's just like, I'm going to eat chocolate bars all day long, 24/7, and then think that's going to work out from a nutrition standpoint. Right. Or whatever negative thing you can come up with to eat. But, that would gag you if you got past 4 of them, Right. But it just, your mind is gagging.
That's right. And it's important to know, we all should be a little bit heightened right now. We should all be anxious right now. This is a big deal, right? And I'm anxious to see what my government's going to do to participate or not participate, and what my leadership's going to look like. All that's true and real and good. Prices are real. The gas, I can't even, I have to double take when you drive by a gas station, right? All that stuff's real. And then what can I do about that? I can't fix the gas prices today. And so I'm going to see it, and I'm going to go, man, that stinks. I'm going to have to make some adjustments in my budget with my wife, and then I'm going to go about my day, because doubling down on that, man, it's going to make me a ball of rage that's going to affect my kids, my wife, my family, my neighborhood, and my work.
You got to control the controllables
and set the rest of the crap down.
You can't control the things that aren't controllable.
That's right. That's right.
That's why they're not called controllables. Right. This is not hard.
Yeah.
And yet we have gotten into this between social media, 24-hour news cycle. It used to be you had, Walter Cronkite for 30 minutes in the evening, your local news for 30 minutes in the evening, and you had a newspaper. Some of you don't know what that is. You could look it up on the internet. But and that was, you were stuck with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was hours and hours and hours behind.
But then you had to go sit down with real humans, and you got
dinner.
You got the pontification circles. Well, I think this. Well, I think this. You were engaging with real people, and a real human would say, I think that's dumb. I think this, and well, I think that. And you had real interactions, and your body actually goes, okay, we're safe. I got a real person right here. I got a real person right here. We're exchanging ideas, and now it's just grenade.
Digital grenades.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which are about as bad as digital courage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Scary times, man. Scary times, but
you have to control the situation.
That's
you have
right.
to control your environment. It's you're not going to get out of this otherwise.
That's right.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality. Dave Ramsey. The phone number is 888-825-5225.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. John's brand new book is called Own Your Past, Change Your Future. It is on pre-sale right now for only $20. And John's got 2 PhDs, 20 years of counseling experience, packed it into an easy-to-understand book. This book's going to have a positive impact on everyone. Everyone should read this book. I got to tell you, I personally, it's changed some of the language I'm using, not only with you guys, but inside my own head as well. And that's just from me reading through the manuscript because it's got my name on the publishing. And so I want to know what the flip we were saying before we put it out there. And it turns out, you know, it'll help like a 30-year-old that's looking to sharpen their mind. This is not a thing you have to, like, this is a book for crazy people. No, it's not. It's a book for all of us have a little crazy, and we all could adjust it a little bit.
That's right.
All of us have some things we could polish up and just, you know, a little more peace, a little less anxiety. All of us could adjust the way we're looking at certain things, and you give a framework for doing that, and that's why I think this book's going to blow up.
Yeah, there's a lot of books out there that are scholars talking to scholars, and they're fine, and they're good, and they're important. And there's a lot of books out there on what I call way outside the bell curve for some significant mental illness for folks who are practitioners. There's almost nothing for folks who are just trying to live life better.
Just have a better conversation.
That's right.
With yourself.
That's right.
Have a better conversation with your friend. I mean,
the people you love, right?
And, you know, in our world today, we were talking about this before we went on the air, you know, the number of times that two people can just sit down and almost enjoy a good argument just because we can have a good discussion because we still love each other. We did before we started, and after we finish the argument, we still think you're wrong, but I still love you.
Of course.
But everybody, you have to hate everybody, and you have to chop off everything
right.
in our divisive world out there. It's like, well, you think you have a mask or you don't have a mask, and so I'm pissed at you for the rest of your life. You know, I mean, it's like people are losing their dadgum minds out there.
Oh, they're gone, man.
And so, you know, we need some new tools to control ourselves and also to interface with other people.
And just to walk it back, you know what I mean? We've laughed internally, not laughed, but we've thought, really? We look at the number of conversation cards we've sold. Like, is that where we are? And the reality is, yep, that's where we are. That we're starting over kind of like old school. You got to get $1,000 in let's just start there, right? Yep. That's where we are when it comes to relationships and our mental health right now. And let's do it, man. Let's just stop pretending. Let's stop walking around the problem. Let's go right through the middle of it.
Well, and to my knowledge, none of our leadership team or publishing team has significant mental health problems,
right,
to my knowledge, and every one of them were touched, including me, right, and informed and given new tools by reading this book. Own Your Past, Change Your Future. You know, we've taught God's and Grandma's ways of handling money for 30 years here at Ramsey, and John's doing the same thing now, God's and Grandma's ways of doing relationships, doing mental health. It is a complex topic, but people that are smart can take a complex topic and make it simple. Around here we call it putting the cookies on a shelf where everyone can reach them. So pre-order your copy today at RamseySolutions.com. It's $20. You're going to get the audio version of the book, the ebook version of the book, and you're going to get 1 month of free weekly therapy sessions from the fine folks at BetterHelp who have come alongside. That makes this $20 purchase an unbelievable deal. So RamseySolutions.com and check it out. The new book coming out in April. Get it pre-ordered now to get all the goodies. Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Free samples, free shipping. With the 2 new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from David in Oregon. David writes, I've been paying the bills but not doing a proper budget since my wife and I got married. I thought I could do it and we coasted by for about 10 years. Then kids came, time flew by, and we accumulated $30,000 in debt. I never made my spouse part of the process and held her off so she didn't have to feel the financial burden. She has a quote-unquote feeling that something isn't right when I won't let her see our finances, and she's right. I recently read one of Dave's tweets. Look at you using Twitter to help people. I didn't know that was possible. That said, if you're in a committed relationship, you've got to play with all of your cards face up. How do we start over and do it right this time? Whew, this is a moment. This is one of those cool marriage moments.
This is a really great question.
Yeah.
I love this question.
So, Dave, in my life, when I've had several of these in my marriage over 20 years, it always starts with me saying, we need to have a discussion, and I need to invite you into some hard stuff that's going on in my heart and mind, my actions, whatever. And I start with, I'm sorry. I've been living this way, and I haven't brought you along. I've left you out. I've excluded you, whatever the thing is. And I want to invite you in to help make this right. And she's very right to feel betrayed. She's very right or her feelings are going to be her feelings. But it starts with somebody turning the lights on, turning the music off, and saying, I was wrong and I'm sorry. Let's start here.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, though, I mean, I've walked couples through this, and sometimes I played marriage counselor for 5 minutes in the middle of a coaching session on money in this. And if he will just, I got 99% of the time, if dude, you got the perfect heart, she's got the right heart, actually, both of you do, for this to be successful. And so I would just say, look, I have screwed this up. I'm sorry. The reason I screwed it up was it started off with I was just going to take care of it. I was going to man up so you didn't have to worry about it. Yeah. And then it got out of control, and I was ashamed that I didn't do it right. Mm-hmm. And that caused me to even become more guarded of it. And I should have just brought the whole thing to you, and we should have worked on it together. And I really screwed up. But I screwed up because I was trying to be the man and carry this for you. Mm-hmm. And that's not the right way to be a man, by the way. Right. And I was trying, and then when it fell apart and I couldn't do it, then I was ashamed of myself, and I didn't want to reveal to you that I had screwed up because I felt stupid. And so if he just says that, which is what he said,
right?
But if he just says that to her, she's going to be really forgiving.
Oh man! And this usually, when I see a couple like this, there's something underneath it, which there's something about the way they communicate in this home that she doesn't like. So if this is my wife, she will not say, hey, I've got a feeling. She will insert herself into this process, right? So there's something about...
Well, it could be that they've been married 5 years and you've been married 20.
Well, they've been married 10 years.
In the first 5 years, Sharon would have been this. Now, Sharon would be like, what? It's going on!
Very similar here.
So it's different now, yeah. After 40 years, we kind of cut through the bull, so...
Yeah. Those 1 hour conversations are 6 minutes.
Like 6 seconds, yeah. It's like, not I have a feeling, it's like, you're scheming and scamming. What the crap's going on?
That's right. But something here is going to have to change in how they do, because this isn't just going to show up with money. It's going to show up with kids. It's going to show up with everything. Yeah. Let's come up with a new way of doing business, of loving each other.
And here's the lesson that you get out of this, and you learn it through the money lens, and it will affect your whole marriage, to your point. And the lesson that you get out of it is so beautiful is this, that everything you do is going to be better when you do it together.
Right.
Instead of you trying to give her the gift of her not having to worry.
Right.
That is not a real gift.
And every time
that's a falsehood.
Have a feeling, hey, something's not right, develop a language that y'all can ask each other that question. Yeah. It just does away with it, right? Right away. It just goes away. It's poof. You deal with it and you move on.
Oh, and by the way, this also tells us that your wife has really, really good intuition.
Yep.
And so the next time she has a feeling about the car salesman, but you think you want to buy the truck anyway, you need to get off the lot.
Yep. Because
her feelings are probably pretty intuitive, probably pretty accurate.
Man.
It might be God speaking through her. Even.
I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah. If Sharon says, Sharon's Southern, so she says it's a 7-syllable word. I got a bad feeling. And if she gets a bad feeling and I go against it, costs me $10,000 at least. I just quit doing it. I just don't go against those feelings. They're expensive.
I've been wrong almost every single time.
We have to get on the same page, and I don't violate that. I mean, I'll question her. I'm like, was it last night's pizza? I mean, why are you having a feeling? But she's like, no, this guy, I just think he's a bad guy. I don't know what it is, but I can't put my finger on it, but I got a bad feeling. Oh, geez, we're getting away from that guy. Oh, he's bad.
ASAP.
Gonna find out later what happened with him. This is the Ramsey Show.
on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Welcome back. We're glad you're here, America. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Joe is in St. Louis. Hey, Joe. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John and Dave. Thanks for taking my question. I'll try to make it brief. We are in baby step 5, thanks to you guys' plan.
Good for you.
And we kind of did like a 3B to save for my car. I've got an old Corolla and it's still running great. Would it be okay to take some of that money and then max out our Roth IRAs for the year and then kind of rebuild that 3B back up? Just because the market's down, I figure it's probably a good time to invest.
Oh, I see. So you would be putting in over 15%.
Into our Roths?
If you put this into retirement, you're currently putting 15% at baby step 4 already into your retirement, are you not?
Yes, we are. But right now we're kind of doing it. We just drafted out monthly.
Oh, you're
we
saying
have
put a
the
lump
money.
sum in it right now?
Yeah.
As long as the total for the year is not more than 15% of your income, that'll be fine.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But if you're saying, should I invest more into retirement than 15% of my income while I still have a mortgage? No, I would not tell you to do that.
No, yeah, we just have the money for the car, but the Corolla just keeps going. So we were just wondering if we could do that.
I've been there, man. I've
Well,
been there.
and it's a crummy time to buy a car because they're outrageously priced right now. So, I mean, you can get a car, but and sometimes people need a car right now, but if you just you got a car that's working and you don't have to move it. So what happens if the Corolla lays down? What are we going to do?
We still have enough to buy something that would work, and if we needed to, I guess, take an extra $2 or $3 grand out of the emergency fund, we could do that.
Yeah. Then as long as you're not over 15%, you kind of thought through the what ifs, then I'd dive in on it for sure. Have at it, bro. Solomon is with us. Solomon is in New York City. Hi, Solomon. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi there, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I'll try to keep it short, but basically, I called the show a couple months back, and you told me that because I'm so young, I should just stash away cash for now in savings. Mm-hmm. And so now I've been doing that, but I'm keeping obviously a couple hundred just like in my checking account. And I got approached by a few people who are collecting for charity besides the tithe, and I can't help but be a little bit have a bad feeling when I'm giving them money, or not giving them as much as I could. So my question is, how do I stop that from happening?
That feeling?
Yeah.
I have never been able to stop it from happening. And it doesn't matter how much money I give and how much money I have allocated to give. There's always wonderful things that need help, wonderful ideas of helping people. There's a whole lot more places to give that are valid than I'll ever have money.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, and so when I kind of get that, my wife makes fun of me and she says, that's Jesus's job. That job's taken. You're not him. You can't solve everything by yourself. All you can do is solve what's put in front of you with a reasonable ratio of what you have, and then release it, because you're not going to be the answer to all the world's problems, in other words. Neither am I. And I have to relearn that, because I feel that exact same tension. I felt it this morning, because we have a budget, an amount laid out that we do giving on our family foundation, And a thing popped up into my email this morning from my daughter that's the director, and I wanted to do more than we should because I liked the idea of what it was, and my wife said, nope, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, yep, that's what we're doing because we're not Jesus. It's his job.
I feel that same thing.
I think everybody does. So, yeah. Here's the thing. You will not become stingy because people that ask this question never become stingy.
Right.
You don't have to worry about being selfish. But what you do have to learn to manage is the tension of you can't solve everything, be everywhere, have enough money to fix everyone's hurts.
And if you give yourself into a hole, go back to college. I used to pick up tabs for people or fill their gas up if they looked like they needed it, but I did it on a credit card, right? I dug myself a hole thinking I was being a hero, and it didn't work, right? That you run out of air at some point. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. You're not good to anybody if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not whole.
So, there's two things. One is you're not a selfish person because selfish people don't even ask this question.
Right.
And when you get more money, you become more of what you already are. So you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you're always going to have a tension, and you have to release it and say, I'm not God. That's his job. He's going to put in front of me what I can do, and I'm going to do what I can do and not bring harm to my family while I'm helping other families and other people. And that's the balance of it. So that's how I've done it. But I will tell you that I feel this exact same tension sometimes, Solomon.
Yeah.
So Josiah's with us in Omaha. Hi, Josiah. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I have a Vanguard retirement fund that tracks. It's just a mutual. I always get confused ETFs and mutual funds, but it tracks with the stock markets. And what I was reading is that we're going to enter into a bear market, and that one article suggested I invest. I do dollar cost averaging, invest in commodities. So I was looking at a mutual fund that just temporarily.
Did you read the article that said you're supposed to send it all to Dave Ramsey?
Or John Deloney?
Yeah,
because that article's out there
like
too.
That article,
no, it's not. It's not out there. But just because you read it on the internet doesn't mean it's right. As a matter of fact, that probably invalidates it.
That's true. So otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But it would still be. I know that in times of volatile times, you're not supposed to have knee-jerk emotional reactions. So I still want to continue to invest, but.
He who jumps off a roller coaster in the middle of the ride is he who gets hurt. Finish the ride, my brother.
Exactly.
Finish the ride, my brother.
So continue to invest, but my question, I guess, is
of the 10,000 millionaires that we studied that became millionaires, the number of them that jumped out of their investments into commodities because they read an article and that made them wealthy when things were scary in the news was precisely zero. None of them did that. None of them did that. They kept investing, and they kept investing, and they kept investing when it was scary, when it was wild, when it was fun, when it was good, when people are smiling, when they're frowning, when they're cussing, and when they're singing joyful noises. All the time. They just keep on investing. Just keep on investing. Just keep on investing. You can call it dollar cost averaging if you want to call it that, but that's not the advantage to it. The advantage of it is you don't stop investing, and you don't change horses in the middle of a flood. While you're in the middle of the stream, you're going to drown. No. And quit reading stupid butt articles on the internet because it'll cause you to do this stuff.
Oh, man.
I had a friend that got cancer, or he's got a cancer scare.
Yeah.
May have cancer, may not. And I said, listen.
Do not.
Listen, the cancer might get you, but I will 100% guarantee you I'm going to kill you if you Google and start reading about cancer on the freaking internet, because you are going to get bad information, a bunch of goobs on there with opinions about tomato seeds or whatever else they dream up, and I'm going to pound you if you open your computer and type in the word cancer.
There is one, whenever I see articles like this, I always go to what's the incentive? And there's somebody who's got a commodities trading office that makes money on the exchange that looks for precisely folks like you, Josiah, who are trying to pay attention, who love their families, who are a little bit scared, and they say, hey, come over here. And you're going to jump off and you're going to give them your money.
Well, or
don't
listen,
do it.
The other thing is this. Very, very seldom do you actually get conned by a real con man.
Right.
But you can get conned by an enthusiastic ignoramus. And there's a whole lot more of those than there are con men.
You just described social media.
I did.
You did.
In one phrase.
One phrase.
This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we talk about mental health, as we talk about relationships, jobs, career, money. It's all right here on The Ramsey Show. By the way, we're going to be doing a relationships and mental health theme hour soon, which will, of course, include Dr. John Deloney. And that's so we're going to take questions in that hour about marriage, parenting, family, friendships, boundaries, your own mental health, anxiety, depression, all the things that fall into those categories, relationships of all kinds. So if you want to be part of that, you can go to ramseysolutions.com/ask, put mental health in the subject line. Kelly will get back to you to schedule you for a call and to be part of that theme hour. If you have questions about those things, you can talk about them today, too, here at 888-825-5225. ramseysolutions.com/ask, put mental health in the subject line, and we'll do a relationships and mental health theme hour together, you and me and Dr. John. All right, Matthew's in Buffalo, New York. Hey, Matthew, how are you?
Oh, I've seen better days, but I can't complain if I'm being honest. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
Better than I deserve, too. I love hearing that. I'm a little nervous. Bear with me.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Ramsey and Dr. John. You guys have helped me so much that you guys won't see the back end of, but emotionally, spiritually, financially, I want to thank you guys for all that you do.
Thank you.
I listen to the YouTube channel all the time, almost every single day.
Thank you. How can we help today, sir?
My question here today is, I have made a giant mistake, and I've neglected a couple bills, and they've gone to collections. And so, little background, I'm 19 years old. I'm young, I'm stupid, and I'm glad I'm making the mistake today so I don't have to make it with a bigger mistake later. And like I said, these bills have gone to collections, and they're about up to $800. And I was wondering if I should call these collections companies and get these sorted out through a credit card or through my debit card. Because if they go through and overcharge me and it goes through a credit card, it'll be easier to dispute it with the credit card company versus the debit card company. I've had issues with both, and it's been fixed with the credit card much easier than the debit card in getting my money back. So I just want to get your advice and thoughts on what I should do, where I should start, and that's it. So thanks for that.
Okay, thank you. What are the bills for? What did you not pay?
So I did not pay some toll bills for like driving over bridges and that kind of things. And like I said, they're up to $800.
Oh, it's all just, it's all that one thing.
Yeah, it's all one thing over the course of about a year now. And I was young, stupid, and neglected them.
Okay. All right. Thank you for taking responsibility.
Yeah, we've all been there, man.
That's a good first start for all of us to take responsibility for what we do and cause. So no, I would not use a credit card because as you know from watching
I know you're
YouTube,
against credit cards.
I would not have a credit card. So first thing I would do is take some scissors and place across that thing and squeeze hard, have plastic surgery, and then close that account. So, okay, that answered that part. Now, the debit card, yeah, you're right. I would not give them electronic access to your checking account, which your debit card does do, and so I would not use that to settle a collection. So you were onto something there. What I would do is just find out the amount exactly by having a phone call or an email exchange with the collector and say, all right, if I get back on the phone with you in a few hours, what will be the amount? Okay? And then go buy a prepaid debit card for exactly that amount to the penny, and then give them that, and then cut that up because it's a one-time use item.
Gotcha. So what about a money order? Would that
You could do that too. That's fine.
You just
or you could do a wire. You can do a wire if you want to, as long as they're not having your debit card or they don't have your checking account number.
And Matthew, I have it's a digital version of this. I have a service that I use that's free, that's online, that I put my debit card number in, and it gives me an unlimited number of debit card numbers that I can use for vendors online, and I get to say what the max payout is. So if it gets taken, you can't go any further. Does that make sense?
What's that called?
Privacy.com.
Okay.
That's what I use.
You can try that. Is it free?
It's free. Yeah, it's fantastic. But I put my number in that way. Do what?
Privacy.com.
Yeah, and I put my debit card in there, and then any of my online purchases, I don't want online companies having my access to my checking account. And so I can say any purchase can only be this much amount. But again, there's probably a dozen of those kind of companies out there, and obviously do your due diligence. But like Dave said, don't ever give them access to your account.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And, get in writing. It'd be great if they just send you an email back and say, if you pay by the 15th of March, then it'll be this amount. And then you've got that in writing, and you keep that in a file in hard copy, and you keep a hard copy of whatever methodology you used to pay in the file. So if this ever comes up again, you've got proof that it was all settled out. And the great news is you're now on top of your money, and you're going to handle things.
Pay your tolls, Matthew.
Well done.
There you go.
All right, Christy's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Christy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I have two kids. One's already in college, and my son is a high school junior. He's 16 and started working, and he's saved about $5,000 so far. Mm-hmm. His goal is to be debt-free. His college, he wants to have a debt-free degree. Right now he has $3,000 in savings, $800 in checking, and he had bought some stocks. He invested $700, and then it went up to about $1,500. It's down to about $1,200 now. And I called one of your coaches earlier and asked. He wanted to know if he should invest part of that savings, the $3,000 savings, into a mutual fund. And they said no, because he'll need the money in fall of. He wants to go to community college first and then to a state school. So he'll need the money in fall of 2025. And they said, no, don't invest into a mutual fund. I forgot to ask him about the stocks, whether he should keep those.
Well, they're more volatile than mutual funds,
Right.
So.
But he already had those. He said not to invest more of the savings into mutual funds, but we didn't know should he sell those stocks.
I would cash them. I'd cash them out. I'd cash it out and put it in savings.
Okay.
Trap your wins and avoid the losses. And there's two reasons for that. Okay, one is that we're protecting the money that he has made, and it's not going to go down further with geopolitical events in the air. We don't know exactly what the stock market will do in the next 6 months. It's not a time to be screwing around with single stocks. The second thing that's more important than that, because the $700 or $1,200 or whatever it ends up being, is not going to cause him to be able to go to school or keep him from going to school. It doesn't answer. Right. It doesn't solve the problem. So if we lit it on fire, it doesn't end him going to school theory, right? So so what we really do with it doesn't matter that much. But what does matter is what he believes causes him to win. And if he starts to see himself as a wonderful stock market day trader, he's setting himself up for losses for the next 3 decades before he figures out that's a dumb butt idea. And so I don't want to strengthen a muscle that I don't want people using.
Yeah, that was kind of his fun money. That was not his work money.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
Christmas
it's kind of like let's say he dropped by the casino and dropped a quarter in, and it came out $300. And then he did that again, and it worked again. Then he starts to think that's where wealth comes from.
Yeah, see, we let him buy those stocks with the thought that it would probably go down and he would learn his lesson, and then it tripled.
You're brutal.
Hey, listen, if when I was his age, I would have taken that money and bought Laffy Taffy. So y'all are way ahead of the game.
Matter of fact, you might do that now.
I probably wouldn't. That's why I take most of my Ramsey paycheck to the Laffy Taffy and the dentist. But yeah, shift that. Man, he's on the right track. Just shift where he's aiming that financial weaponry and something that's more sustainable.
Yeah. When you're teaching kids about money and letting them participate in different types of financial instruments, understand that that the actual dollars that are moving around don't matter much, but what the lesson that you're teaching them is this is the way to do it. And that's, it's like, well, he'll learn to be responsible if he has a credit card. No, he won't. He'll learn to use credit cards.
That's right.
That's don't give a teenager a credit card. Dumber than a rock, because you're going to have an adult with a credit card later. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we take your questions about your relationships, your mental health, your job, your career, your money, your life. We talk about it all right here on The Ramsey Show. The phone number is 888-825-5225. John, it is really popular right now to hate rich people because they're evil and they're greedy, and we should hate all of them.
Agreed.
Anyone who is successful should be completely torn down. They should not be allowed to be successful because we want everyone to be at the same level because we are now a bunch of communists. And so greedy rich people, horrible, evil rich people are everywhere. And we have decided that because the horrible, evil, greedy rich people are everywhere, that James, our producer, decided we're going to start exposing how horrible and greedy and evil they are on a pretty regular basis. So Carissa Collins is the owner of the popular Instagram account, The Collins Kids, which consists of her and her 9 children. The social media influencer revealed on Tuesday that this guy with a $400 million net worth, he's kind of a short guy. And
James?
No.
George Camel?
No, the guy with the $400 million net worth. That would not be James, and that would not be George Camel.
Gotcha. Oh, that's my bad. My bad.
His name is Shaq. You might have heard of him.
Shaquille O'Neal. There
you
we
may
go.
have heard of him, yeah. So he took the Collins family out to dinner at Babe's Chicken. The next day, he took them to the Mercedes-Benz dealer and bought them a 15-passenger van. After buying the car, they went out to dinner again at the Rainforest Cafe, where he dropped another $1,000 with the tip on the waitress, just the tip to the waitress alone. And after dinner, he noticed Carissa's husband's truck, which was the heat and air and the air conditioning was falling apart. It was a dumpy truck. And so he took him down the Ford dealership and bought him a new truck. Who is Shaq?
Did you know I could get?
Is he like Elvis?
I get choked up on these
cars?
things. I get choked up on these things, man.
This is amazing.
Because let's not blow past that. $1,000 for that waitress at the Rainforest Cafe changed her entire. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, don't drive past a 15-passenger Mercedes van, okay?
Right.
That's just a little different than $1,000 too. But oh my gosh!
Oh, and I saw this one where
you
the guy
add up
was,
all of this. He dropped less than, I don't know what that van cost, but he dropped
$150,000
probably. And he has a $400 million net worth, so that is like, it's a very, very small percentage ratio of his world. He's not broke from doing it.
I saw this one. The guy was in there, and he was trying to buy engagement ring for his wife, and Shaq just happened to be in the same jewelry store shopping for something, and the guy was kind of getting nervous, and he was paying, and Shaq walked over and just handed his card to the person at the counter and patted him on the back and said, "Congratulations, my man." Could you imagine being able to just do that for somebody? Just being in there to buy something for your wife or your sister, and all of a sudden be able to I mean, come on, man. It was such an amazing thing. He bought a house for this young man who was paralyzed by a stray bullet.
Yeah, these evil rich people need to stop this.
That is ridiculous.
That's just ridiculous. That your evilness needs to stop.
That's right.
Evilness. That's a word, right? Evil in action.
Evilness.
Shaq, you're destroying the reputation of the evil rich people. Come on, man, with that outrageous generosity. Come on, man. Wow, that's pretty cool. I did not know he had this knack for random generosity like this. That's very well played.
Bought 1,000 PlayStation 5s.
Well, and he's so subtle because he fills up the whole room when he walks in it. So it's there's no way you can be Shaq and be invisible.
But can I tell you, he does it. I saw a clip of this with the guy at the Zales, and it was the most quiet. It wasn't a big, hey, look what I'm doing. He gently handed the guy and said, this one's on me, in his big, deep voice. And he patted the guy on the back and he said, congratulations, brother, and walked off. And it was I've been blessed so I can be a blessing, right? It's that sense of I've been given so much and I'm just going to bless these families. And of course, he's got these big, things that he gives 500 kids clothes here. But it's just that kind of generosity, man, that I can get choked up thinking about it because it's so cool. And thinking how cool it would be on the other end of this to be able to just do that.
Well, the thing is with our, generous people make your eyes leak.
Yeah.
I mean, we all love them. Nobody hates generous people.
No.
But you can't do that if you're broke. If you're broke and you're bitching about rich people on your iPhone that you have payments on, you can't do that because you're broke. So, hello. Just a little heads up there. Bitching about rich people on your $800 iPhone.
Thanks for pulling the wool back on America, James.
iPhone.
Huge.
Yeah, James. You're just showing people how rich people really are.
I don't know
if we can continue this level of expose. It's just emotionally distressing to just let people see how people really are out there, because generosity's all over the place, man. Wow. Hey, Jakin, is it Jakin? Jakin is with us in Modesto.
Jakin.
Let's see if I can get it on there. There it is. Jakin, how are you, man?
Going?
What's up?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Great. How can we help?
Good. So about 2.5 years ago, found you. Me and my wife were about a month away from being done with baby step 2.
Yay.
And then shortly after that, once 3 is done, I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-month-old, all 3 girls.
Ooh, you are in it, my brother. You are in it.
Yes. But I was thinking about 529s and their future, and from what I understand is you can use 529 for any family member. So is it better to get them 3 individual 529s, or would a single 529 that I could just load up earn more money faster?
No, it won't matter. 3 with $1,000 in them each will grow at the same exact rate as one with $3,000. So it won't matter. I would open 3 so that you've got an individual accounting for each kid, and you can tell what's going on. Sit down with your SmartVestor Pro. They can help you get that open. But there's no change. Compound interest is compound interest. It works the same way because it's always dealing with the total amount of money you have. In other words, if you take 3 $1,000 deposits into exactly the same mutual fund with 3 different account numbers, or you put $3,000 in that mutual fund with 1 account number, it will grow at exactly the same rate. Exactly the same rate. The fact that it's separated does not change the math at all on the total. Now, it does change the math on the 1,000, obviously, because it's not 3,000, it's 1,000. But on the total, it doesn't change it at all. You'll be just fine. It's better to be able to look at the kids and go, hey, come over to the screen. This is your 529. And we're starting to talk about your future and how we feel about education with you and where you are going to go to school. And that's a different individual instead of like, okay, family, let's have a meeting and talk about the group for the community 401k.
Susan, you go to Stanford. Dan, I'm sorry.
This is the Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225 as we talk about your life and your money. Okay, married folks, imagine never having another money argument. What would that be like? Considering it's the number one thing people divorce over, money fights, money problems. It's the number one thing they fight about, money fights, money problems. When you get on the same page with money, it's like there's not a lot left to fight about. I mean, you got to really work at it after that. So it changes your marriage. It changes your finances. It increases the probability of success in your marriage and in your money. Hello. Sounds like a good plan. How do people learn how to do that? In Financial Peace University, we've been teaching people to do that for many decades. Almost 10 million people have been through this class. And many, many, many of them say it's saved or enhanced or changed their marriage in a good way. So, to join a Financial Peace University class, you can take a free trial at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Oh, by the way, we'll also teach you how to get out of debt and become wealthy, which is actually what the class is about. But in the process, it changes your marriage. RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Phil's in Minneapolis. Hey, Phil, what's up?
Hey, Dave and John. I'm calling from Minnesota. Got a bit of a weird question that I've never heard answered before. I am a realtor, so I work on commission. My wife and I are in baby step 4, 5, and 6. She works for the school district, and we front-loaded our IRAs, Roth IRAs in November, and we just did our taxes, and turns out we made over the threshold, so we can no longer put in the $6,000 total.
So you made over $200,000 household income?
Yep, just barely.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we did. And so now we got to pull money out of the IRA, and now they're down about 10% from when we put them in. So obviously that's going to be money lost there. Trying to figure out how to get them back into an investment, because everybody, from what I'm hearing, is saying that you've got to pull them back out and put them in a money market.
Well, you don't have to put them in a money market. That's not required, but you have to pull them out. You have to liquidate these because they're traditional IRAs, right?
No, they're Roth.
They're Roths.
They're Roth IRAs. Yeah, and for my tax pro, he says you can't do that. And then my investment advisor is actually an ELP, and she said, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, you have to pull it out. But what you can do, and your Smart Investor Pro should be able to help you with this part. What you can do is do what's called a backdoor Roth. And if you haven't filed your taxes, I'm sorry.
She said that wasn't an option because what we did is I have a company that pays, basically, I have an S Corp, and so I get my salary out of there. So my business taxes are already done. That's already filed. Our personal is not done yet. She said we weren't able to do a backdoor Roth, and I'm not quite sure why. She leaned towards doing a SEP, but I can't do a SEP for 2021 now that it's 2022.
Yeah, you got to pull the money out. That's settled. What you do with it is not settled. I think there's a bunch of different conversations going on, and maybe they're getting confused here. I don't hear any reason you can't do a backdoor Roth. A backdoor Roth is a personal move. It's not a business move. If you haven't filed your taxes for 2021, you can still do a backdoor Roth. Here's how it works, unless they can give you a good reason that you can't do it, and I don't know what that would be. Do you have a huge amount of money in a traditional already?
No, less than 100.
Okay, then you should be able to do this. So hit your SmartVestor Pro again and tell them Dave said he thinks you can, so really look into it, because here's what I think. And there may be a detail of your situation I don't have yet, or I may be missing something in this conversation, but I don't think I am. If you can do a backdoor Roth after you pull this money out, which you have to pull it out, here's what you would do. Before you file your taxes, you would open an after-tax traditional, not a pre-tax.
Okay.
And immediately, 30 seconds later, roll it into a Roth.
Okay. So I can just roll it from traditional to a Roth?
Yeah, from an after-tax traditional, not a before-tax.
Okay.
It's an unusual traditional, okay? But it's an after-tax traditional, and you roll it then into a Roth instantaneously. And you could do it all with the same mutual fund that you're in. And, you know, you could do it with the money that's left that you have to pull out. You don't even have to go all the way to $6,000, but if you want to add a little to it, you can do that. I know you can still do them. I just did one the other day.
Well, good.
So I know in general it's possible, but now is there a way to roll the current money that you've got over into that? I don't think so. I think you just got to pull it out. Now I'm sitting here with some cash in my hand from this IRA that I overfunded, and now I'm going to do a backdoor Roth instead. And you probably are just going to do backdoor Roths as long as they exist for the rest of your life, because you're probably going to make over 200 from now on. Thank God. That's wonderful. I'm proud for you. Peyton is in Portland, Maine. Hi, Peyton. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, John. How are you guys?
Great, man. What's up?
So I have a little bit of a relationship question with about my parents. I'm 20. I just finished school. I work full time. I'm on baby step 2 right now, so I'm paying off my student loans and my car. I'm almost done paying off my car right now. I had an account statement on my counter, and my parents saw it, and they seemed almost disappointed that I'm paying off the debt. They're really worried about my credit score. I don't know how to explain to them like the plan I'm doing with you guys. I've tried to before, but it just doesn't seem to register. And they were really, it seemed like they were really disappointed. I just didn't know how to go about that. It kind of took me back. I know in my heart I'm doing the right thing, but I want to be able to honor them with doing this because they think I'm being irresponsible. So I'm just not sure how to go about dealing with that situation with them.
How old are you now, did you say?
20.
20?
20.
All right.
Do you live at home?
I do, yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you a gift. Well, I was going to give you a gift, and it's going to be a little bit complicated because you live at home. But I want you to keep this near and dear to your heart, okay? They don't get a vote.
Okay.
You're out of college. You got a job. You're making a living. Now, they do get a vote because right now you live in their house, and so if they tell you to be home at 9 o'clock and to fold your socks a certain way, you live in their house, and they can do that. But when it comes to how I'm taking care of my money, my dad has opinions, which is fine, well, and good, but me and my wife make decisions financially for my household. And you're making your own money, you're making your own job, you're paying off your own debts, and they can tell you, hey, we think you should do this and really care about this loan. And thank you so much for your wisdom. I'm really grateful for that.
I have a relative that tells me how I should vote, and they're wrong.
So they don't get a vote, okay? And if you can learn this at 20, that people who love you and care about you are going to give you bad advice, and they still love you and care about you, and you're not going to be able to move on with your day. Man, if you could, I didn't figure that out till I was like 35. So if you can figure that at 20, the rest of your life is going to be good because this is going to continue to happen that way. Okay?
Yeah. And so here's the thing. Mom and Dad, I don't want to disappoint you guys, and I know that you don't understand what I'm doing here, and I love you and I respect you, but I actually do have a system, and I actually am working a plan from some reading and some studying that I've been doing on how to handle money, and it's working for me. So I know you don't understand, but it's okay. I'm going to be okay, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it, but you need to separate the part where you emotionally need their approval to be an adult. That's what John's saying.
Okay.
And
well,
a great gift, man. Sometimes when I'm trying to explain a hard concept, if I'm talking to somebody and I just don't have the words to explain it, I'll hand them a book and say, this guy, or a podcast, this guy does it better than me. This brilliant doctor, she writes this better than I can explain it right now. And so maybe if you say, hey, if you don't fully understand, I get it. Here's a copy of Total Money Makeover. Read this. This guy does a better job explaining.
Baby Steps Millionaires. Yeah,
that's right.
Like
just do a better job of explaining it than me.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing to do either. And go, this is what I'm doing, and if this helps you, it might be interesting to you. It might not. You may just want to stand back and not agree, and that's okay too. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to be going forward with this thing. And it's a smile and a gentle word.
No fights, that's right.
And there's no acid in the air, no passive aggressive in the question or the statement. Just be there. This is the Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Sherman and Christina are with us. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Thank you for having us.
We're great. We're great. We're excited to be here.
We're honored to have you. Where do you live?
In Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, very cool. Well, good to have you. Thanks for joining us. All the way to Nashville to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, all the way to Nashville.
Cool. How much did you pay off?
$203,000 in 27 months.
Way to go. Oh, wow. And your range of income during that time?
Started right around $100,000 and up to about $215,000.
Wow, nice
Sherman, did you go back to work? That's a pretty big jump, man.
Had to get to work.
That's right.
What do you guys do for a living?
We own a gym in Gainesville, Florida, Dynasty CrossFit. Then we also own a marketing firm, Lasso Framework.
Now we own a marketing firm too.
So what drove this income to double in 2 years? I mean, 2.5 years.
Yeah, the marketing firm sort of took off. The gym was our main thing for years, and then we started the marketing firm. So, both of them just sort of continued to rise as we get more focused on paying off the debt. Funny how that works.
Funny how that works, yeah. I need some money. I wonder where I can find some. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Way to go, you guys. What kind of debt was the 203?
Mostly student loans, his student loans.
Mainly student loans. I guess they were my student loans.
Apparently. Apparently, that's the word I hear.
Sherman's like, I thought they were ours. I thought they were ours.
They are ours. They are ours.
So mainly student loans. We paid off a car. We cash flowed a few things, but mainly the bulk of it was student loans.
Wow.
From undergrad, graduate school. So.
Yeah. What's your degree in?
I got an undergrad degree in psychology. Then I went to a master's program in biomedical science, but not really utilizing those now. So
I don't know, Jim. Biomedical, why not?
Yeah. I feel we are.
If you want to stretch it,
Probably informs some of the decisions, maybe when you realize it or not. Way to go, guys.
Yes.
Good job. Very fun. So what started this journey 27 months ago? This Ramsey idea.
Yeah, so we've known about Ramsey for the entire time we've been married. When we first got married, we took FPU, and that sort of gave us the foundations to not go into more debt, but we weren't ready to be serious about it for a couple years ago.
So you flunked?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say we flunked. We definitely had.
You got a C.
I think we had
You
a
took an
mind
incomplete,
to
yes.
not. I guess, yeah. We just didn't want to accrue more debt, so we were more aware of not working side hustles, working multiple jobs, especially even during pregnancies. We were very much aware, like this is something we owe and we need to pay it back. We just didn't know how God would multiply our income in such a way that from what we were making to what we're making now, until about 2 years ago when we heard a word from the Lord, and we're like, our obedience, he has to take care of it. So this is where we're at. We're only making $100,000. It seems like an enormous mountain, and we're just going to have to chip away at it. And at some point,
You start chipping away at it, and all of a sudden the income took off.
Yep.
The income, he's faithful. His provision is amazing, and it's through that all these opportunities started becoming about, and we were able to chip even further. So.
Amen and amen. Love
Yeah.
it. Way to go, you guys. Cool. Very cool. So, all right. So you get re-energized.
Yes.
Years later, after FPU, 27 months ago, and you say, "All right, game on." What was the conversation? Do you remember that? I mean, you said you got a word from the Lord, right? So there was a moment in time that something just kind of was a wake-up call. There's a milestone there where it turned, right?
Yeah, definitely. So it's funny because we were actually up here visiting our good friends, the Coliots, up here in Nashville, and
I thought I had seen y'all out here before.
Yes, we've been here numerous times. We've been to the
Well, you're
old
pretty
place.
people. You're hard to forget.
Yeah, I mean, ladies tell me
So-
that, so thank you,
Yeah.
Dave.
That's right. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not standing by you in the photos. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So we were up here on vacation, and those student loan people, they called me, and that just
How was it?
While you're in a lobby?
No, while we were up here on vacation.
Oh, in Nashville.
And that just
Okay.
put that. I don't know why that just
Turned the knife.
Turned the knife, and I was like, no more.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you go and sit down. You sit down with Christine and say, so for the next couple of years, we're not going to buy anything.
Yeah.
We're going to have to duct tape the kids to the floor because they might have to go too. Like, we're going to get after this. Were you all in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
she was
100%.
all in.
I've always been all in.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
all in. I would say that's one
I'm
of
a
the big.
spender, but I'm also all in to not have
She,
debt.
she is the spender. But she was definitely all in. She was like, if you want to do it, let's do it. And I was just like, all right, I guess I really have to do it. And I was started hoping she would say, maybe. She was like, all right, let's do it.
Because I feel like if you're called by God to do something, at that point it's a conviction, and it's just through our obedience that He's going to
Yeah,
make
that's
it
the
happen.
same trip you're walking around out here in the lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll get on you too.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And we did that intentionally. I remember
Absolutely.
saying, well, we have to go. And it kept us, it's a drive for
Oh,
us.
there's the picture. All right, I wasn't losing my
Yes,
mind.
yes.
All right,
It
Then
kept
you're
us,
in the picture.
I'm in the picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
It kept us motivated. It's something that once God calls us to do something, I mean, it's easy for us. There is no.
Yeah.
Like, the consequences, there is no reward to disobedience.
Put me in, coach.
So
Yeah,
put me
exactly.
in. This is what we have to do. And then now we get to watch Him provide and make a way. So it was easier for me because it's like, all right, God, hands off.
Yeah.
You work your miracles and your whatever you need us to do. We're in. We're
Yeah.
in.
Well,
So-
I mean, you doubled your income during this time, so
Yeah.
he was obviously showing off.
He did.
You know.
He showed up and showed out.
And I know
in a big way.
Florida's been different throughout this, but you got to say that 24 months ago, running a gym, all of a sudden the world, your heart's got to start beating a little bit faster, right?
Absolutely.
You were
Absolutely.
exposed, right?
It did, but
Absolutely.
we always had peace.
Yeah,
we had a
absolutely.
word. Like
That's
that's
cool.
it. That's all we needed. So our faith was strong enough, and our children are amazing. Like they're gun-ho about anything too. And when we all sat down as a family, we came up with a budget. There was no going back. We were all in, and we knew that we knew it would be hard, but I knew that it would be rewarding as well. So we focused more on serving others and doing what we could for other people
And we
during
also
that
taught
time.
an FPU class during
Wow.
that time
Yeah.
just to
Wow.
stay focused
Well,
and
thank you.
tuned in. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I would say you have to have a budget. You have to stick to the budget. And for me, one of the biggest things is your spouse, if you're married, your spouse needs to be on board with you, because that made it even easier for me. Like, Christina stays at home, doesn't work outside of the home. She homeschools our 3 kids. So it could have been easy for her to say, I'm not going to be on board with this. I got to take care of these kids. But she was like, if you want to do it, I'm totally on board. So having a budget and then having a spouse that fully supported me, that made it that much better.
And I think for me, it was easier because, not easy, but it was a lot easier to understand. This is not our money. We have to pay it back. I'm not mad at the student loan people. He signed the paperwork. I mean, we owe them. So it's, it is a commitment. And
back to it's your money, man.
No, it's not. It's not.
He signed the paper.
It's not that. It's something we went into. And in marriage, that was one thing he always, brought up was, hey, I have this mountain of debt, from school. And I'm like, it's ours. It really is. And that honestly
Very
was
healthy.
the point I was trying to get to.
Yeah, you're very, very healthy. We're poking fun at it, but very good, very well said. That's very well done. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your story for sure. That and outrageous generosity. So you're on track to be able to do all of that. What are the kiddos' names and ages?
We have Judah here. He's 8. We have Ariana. She's 10. We have Caden. He's 13.
All right.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Good-looking family. Well done, you guys. We're proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Good work. You're amazing people. Well done. $203,000 paid off in 27 months, making $100 to $215. Sherman, Christina, Caden, Ariana, and Judah. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Woo! Yeah!
So cool.
That's how it's done, man. That's how it's done. 27 months later, game on.
That is a different kind of game on.
When you just decide something, that's when you draw the line in the sand.
I'm with my family. You will never call me again. I'm done with you.
I'm done. You're bothering me.
I'm out.
The borrower's slave to the lender, and I don't like it anymore.
I'm out.
This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We're talking about your relationships, your mental health, anxiety. We're talking about jobs and careers. We're talking about money, marriage, kids, life. It shows up right here on The Ramsey Show. Andrew's with us. Andrew's in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi, Andrew. What's up?
Hi, Dave. How's it going?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Well, thanks for taking my call. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while now. I have a large question, but I'm hoping you can help me out. I work right now in insurance. I make pretty good money. I'm worried you're going to ask me how much. I don't know exactly because I haven't looked at my last year's, but I know it's well above 120. It's probably about 150 for the year.
Okay.
I love the company I work for. I love the people I work with. It's been a blessing. And I've been here for about 4 years now. However, I did start a business renting electric bikes here in St. Pete, Florida. And it's obviously something I'm a little bit more passionate about, something I love to do. And I'm just really nervous. Right now it's kind of part-time, if you will. I run it with my cousin, so we kind of balance out the workload. And then my brother is like our full-time employee, so it's sort of passive income with me working it on the weekends. And I'm just trying to figure out kind of how or if I should transition. I never want to give up my book of business with what I do now in insurance because I've worked really hard for it, and now it's at a really good point where I could, go to more of a part-time place and start focusing more on just renewing my book and not so much on new sales. But it's still scary to make the jump, from going to
being sales, new business every month and renewing to kind of shifting my focus onto this business.
What did you make on the business?
What's that?
How much did you make on the business last year?
Oh, well, it's new. We haven't.
You haven't made any money yet.
No. I mean, honestly, no.
You don't need to quit doing anything till you make money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's definitely not as much as I'm making now. Or
you're not making any money, so it's definitely not as much.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with you taking a pay cut if it's something you really wanted to do and you enjoyed your life. But right now you're making zero.
Yeah, so you got to get this. You got to get the business profitable, and I want to see it. I want to see it putting $100,000 in your pocket.
Right. Yeah, because it's not. I mean, it does make maybe a few thousand a month, but definitely not. 12,
in your pocket.
15.
In your pocket. After everybody's paid, after the brother's paid, after you split with your cousin,
after
you buy new bikes that replace the ones that the drunks tore up, and all the stuff you have to do in that business.
Right.
Now, once you get it to 100, here's the second thing you need to do before you make the jump. But don't talk about quitting your other thing until you get this up to 100. You're kind of coasting around in this conversation, and I need you to, for your sake, I want you to be very, very precise, because if you don't, you're going to make a mistake. So when you get to 100, I see two problems with this business. Okay, that threatens the future of it. One is competition. As soon as Bird put a scooter on the street, 3 other people did. And if you were all in on Bird scooters, you'd be screwed right now, because the competition would have run you out of business. And electric bikes are another version of Bird scooters, okay? The second thing is, this is a very technology-driven, app-driven, social-type movement product, and if it suddenly goes, if it's no longer, it works right now because it's cool. It's cool. It's in vogue. It's the cool thing to do. In 5 years, it's not going to be the cool thing to do anymore. So in addition to having a plan on how you're going to survive the competition, you need a plan on how you're going to add other types of product lines that do not falter as quickly when they're not cool anymore. When you have a fad product, when the fad's over, your business is over if you don't have another product. And so in addition to electric bicycles, if you think about it, look back 5 years. 5 years ago, no Bird scooters, no electric bicycles. They just showed up, boy. I mean, this is it. And so something else is going to show up.
They'll go away just as fast. That's right.
And it's not going to be cool. That's what I mean by cool. It's something, you're running a fad product line, something in a high rate of change industry. You got to have a plan for where you're going next. Not, I'm going to do this for 20 years with electric bicycles, because 20 years from now, you won't be doing electric bicycles. I promise you.
And this is a strange call, Andrew, because 99% of the time someone calls, it's, I'm a nurse and I cannot do this anymore. I'm a teacher and I'm a police officer and I can't. The way you talked about your insurance company you like it. You love these people. And so here's the thing. There is this weird pressure going along around people who are 25 and younger. If you're working for a company that somehow you're failing, that if you're not quitting your job to go do your quote-unquote own thing, that you're somehow less than. I call
That's not true.
Bullcrap on that. If you love your job and you're making $150,000 and you're good at it and you're building it, there is nothing wrong with staying there and crushing it and hustling it there with your company, man.
So the third option is stay in the job permanently. Do the things I'm talking about with the business and get the business so profitable that you just staff it and run it, and you're an absentee investor.
That's what I like.
You're not an operator.
Hire some high school kids to run it for you.
Well, he's got the brother in there starting it, right? The first full-time employee. So we can put some other employees in there as the profitability goes, and let's run that up. But you still are going to have to look at how you're going to double and triple the revenues. You're still going to have to look at how you can diversify your product lines, because you're in a very, I don't know the other proper word to use other than fad. You're in a very in vogue product in a high rate of change industry, and you're going to get your head taken off with that because you're going to just wake up one morning, it's going to be over. And you're sitting there with a whole bunch of bikes.
75 electronic bikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's going to be a problem. And it's not going to be happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year. But 5 years from now, I mean, you may be using holograms. You may be using holograms to book the deal, I mean, I don't know. So, all right. Rose is in Tampa. Hi, Rose. How are you?
Thank you for taking my call, Dave and Dr. John.
Sure. What's up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, I currently have 2 rental properties, and one of them will be sold this summer, so that'll be out of the question. But I have a townhome that it's empty right now. Tenants just moved out. And I'm wondering if I should sell it or keep it long term.
What's it worth?
About $270,000.
Is it paid for?
I have $45,000, which I'm going to be paying off at the end of this
So let's
month.
pile up $250,000. Let's pretend you don't own the townhome. And I just put $250,000 cash stacked up in the middle of your dining room table. What type of investment are you going to do with that? Are you going to buy rental property? Are you going to invest in mutual funds? What are you going to do with that $250,000?
Everything else I have is in the market. And so for me, real estate is just not having 100% of everything in the market.
Do you want to buy with your $250,000 in the middle of the table? Do you want to buy a piece of real estate?
I'm unsure. That's why I'm calling.
Okay. There's not a wrong answer. Yes is the right answer, and no is the right answer. Because it's what you want to do. Real estate is not a bad investment. It's not the perfect time to sell if you should be holding. I'm not selling mine. I got a bunch of it, and I'm keeping it. And I'm just smiling that it's worth a lot more and that the rents are going up on all of it. I'm just smiling. But if you are sick and tired of real estate, there's no law that says you have to own real estate. So you can sell it. But if you would buy more real estate with that money, then you would keep this. If you would sell it, if you would not buy more real estate with it, then you would sell this. That's how I help analyze it. Help me walk through the emotions in my situations.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your money, your relationships, your mental health, your anxiety, your job, your career, anything having to do with your life, marriage, parenting. It's all here. It's called The Ramsey Show. The phone number, 888-825-5225. Joe is in St. Louis. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I called you. I discovered you about 7 years ago on the radio, and I'm 71 years old. My finances all my life been up and down. And I can tell you that I paid my mortgage off yesterday, and I'm debt-free.
Way to go, Joe! Awesome!
And it's never too late. It's never too late to learn, and I learned from you. And that's what I called you about. I'm a little nervous now, but I took 99% of your advice. I didn't do it all, but I took 99%. And I want to tell you and other people out there, it's never too late. And
so you start in your mid-60s, and you paid off your house when you're 71. I'm so proud of you.
71. I paid it off yesterday.
That's awesome. What's this house worth?
About 150.
Look at you with a paid-for house.
I've been up and down in finances and income all my life. And I live paycheck to paycheck until you. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, thank you. You're an inspiration, sir. I
never
appreciate.
too
I'm
late.
honored you called. Never too late, and
Never too late.
So, what's your house worth? You think? You said 150.
About 150.
You said
Yeah,
150.
about 150.
That was and
you still working?
Yeah, I'm retired, but I work part time.
Okay.
And but my finances have never been the way they are now, just because of you.
So you not only got a paid for house that gives you a sense of peace, but more than that, more importantly, you have a sense that you're under control.
Oh, yes. I've never been under control in all these years with my finances. They've been up and down. I had a lot of things. I lost a lot of things. But
you
I'm
are
in
now.
peace right now.
You are now.
I'm sitting on the banks of the Mississippi River, and I'm looking at bald eagles flying up and down the river right now.
Life is good.
Doesn't get much better than that. Thank you for your gratitude, my brother. That's awesome.
That's just beautiful. Just beautiful. Thank you so much. Robert is in Modesto, California. Hi, Robert. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Actually, I've only listened to your podcast maybe 3 times in the start of this week.
Wow.
I'm surprised I actually got through to talk to you.
Welcome to the gang, man.
Welcome in, brother.
My wife has been telling me about 2 months now that I needed to start listening to you. We're kind of, me and the wife, I don't know if we're on the same page here. She's 48, I'm 54. I make $100,000 a year, just over that, as a paramedic here in California. And we are $300,000 up on equity in our house. I have about $600,000 in 401k, $75,000 in cars, and about $30,000 in debt. That's a student loan and a credit card. My wife wants to go to a larger home because we are smaller home, 4 of us here, a 19-year-old, 15-year-old, me and the wife, and we're just running out of room here. She wants to go to a larger home. To me, that's a larger payment, a little less stress on us space-wise, a little more stress on us financial-wise. She advises if I do the Ramsey thing, then, we'll find the money type of stuff. Is it a bad idea to go to a larger home?
I'm sorry, the last part about the Ramsey thing, say that again?
She says if we start doing the 7 steps and doing the Ramsey method, that it'll all work out. That the more payment is not going to be that big a deal because we'll find the money somewhere else.
The baby steps aren't pixie dust, brother. They're math.
The problem is that the Ramsey thing is going to cause you to not go get a home because you have other debt you've got to clean up before you talk about doing that. $30,000 worth.
Okay.
You don't move up in home until you get that mess cleaned up. The consumer debt that you've got.
Right.
And you're running out of room in your house. You got a 19-year-old that will probably be taken off soon. You got a 15-year-old that's just got a couple of years left. I mean, this sounds relatively temporary, right?
Yeah, you were running out of room 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you're not running out of room. Now they're running out of the house.
Yeah, we've been in this house for 20 years.
Yeah. That sounds like more of the issue than the space issue, is y'all want to go do something else.
I don't mind you all moving to a different home, even a more expensive home. I would not do it because you're running out of room because your kids are about to leave in an eye blink. I'm with John on that. I would not do it until you get your debts paid off that you have other than the house. And then that would entail that you are working the Ramsey baby steps, that you have your fully funded emergency fund, you're debt-free except the house, and then when you make the move on the house, your payment is no more than 1/4 of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed rate, and then we plan to work extra and pay that house off sooner than 15 years because that's what people that become millionaires do. That would be the Ramsey plan, not we're going to move into a higher house payment, and then we're going to start 7 baby steps, and that'll make it work out.
That's right.
No, lady, that is not the Ramsey plan.
And
sorry.
And Robert, make sure that you don't have $300,000 of imaginary equity burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah.
A lot of folks feel like, oh, my house is worth this, so now I have to go X, Y, and Z.
Because when you sell in an up market, you also have to buy in an up market.
That's right. So hang on, man. Hang on to it, man. That itch might not be scratched by just spending that money that you don't have.
Yeah. So I think we need to redefine why we're moving
Yep.
You can't be the 2 kids because they're not going to be there.
And say I've lived here for 20 years, I want to do something else. That's great.
That's okay.
That's wonderful.
That's okay. That's not a bad thing, but we're running out of room. That you should have said that 10 years ago.
That's right.
Because you were out of room then. If you were going to use that one.
It sounds like y'all feel like you have a $300,000 blank check, and you don't. That's the part I'm worried about.
I think she went out to some open houses and saw some nice cabinets in a kitchen.
No.
That's never happened at our house. Oh, jeez. It's like, I'm just going to go to the car lot and look at them.
That's right. At the Bentley lot. I'm just going to go to the Bentley lot.
Drive the Maserati. That's all I'm going to do.
Just going to look at it.
Yeah. I'm just going to drive the new Raptor. Would you look at that screen? I don't know how people make it without a screen that size. Yeah. It's we all do this is what we're saying, not just your wife. But I think she I might accuse Sharon Ramsey of doing similar things, like she goes to some friend's house or to an open house. Or I'm just going to stop by and look. I want to see what people are doing in kitchens these days.
And suddenly the Ramseys are moving.
Like, oh, or we're tearing the whole freaking kitchen out. Yeah, and which usually means that 24 months after we do that, we're moving.
Then you're moving. That's
right.
right.
But yeah, so this is an ailment that is common to lots of households, Robert. This is the Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Well, real estate market's pretty hyped up right now. If you hadn't noticed, the buyers are feeling the pressure to buy. The sellers are going, I can get a lot of money. It's not amateur hour out there. Don't get me wrong, rates probably won't get any cheaper than they are right now. Doesn't give you a reason to green light stupid, okay? You don't necessarily need to get caught up in the hype, the flow, the tidal wave, whatever you want to call this. Or you don't have to get caught up in offering way over asking price because you're desperate. Don't get caught up in the hype. You know, you got to get your head out of the craziness and get a second look at the facts. Are you debt free? Do you have a down payment? Are you putting it on a 15-year where the payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay? Only if the answer is a big fat yes are you ready to buy. But if you're ready to buy, we can help you with this. Once you've answered the questions, it's time to look at some old, cold, hard numbers. You can use our free mortgage calculator to see exactly what your home ownership options are based on your budget. Real Ramsey stuff. So go to RamseySolutions.com, click Free Tools, use the mortgage calculator. It'll tell you what to do. RamseySolutions.com, click Free. That's a key word right there. Free Tools. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. A great American company, Blinds.com. Always use Ramsey as a promo code. It's magic. It'll get you the best deal.
All right, today's question comes from Megan in Wyoming. Megan writes, I've been married for 14 years, and due to anger issues, I need to leave my marriage and take our children with me. I'm struggling with how to pay bills and find a place for him to live. I'm in the first year of a great career, but my pay is not yet consistent. I earn $50,000 a year, and my husband makes about the same amount. I feel like I need to be financially responsible for the house we own together and an apartment for him to move to when we separate. How should I plan financially to be ready to leave him? If you have come to a situation in your marriage where you are not safe and you decide to terminate your marriage because somebody has made your home and your relationship inhabitable, you are not responsible for finding them a place to live. That's their responsibility.
Yeah.
This is hard, man.
A buddy of mine that does divorce recovery many, many years ago here on the air said divorce changes a marriage into a business transaction.
That's right.
This is no longer about you taking care of him. Far from your need to take care of him. You're having to end this because he can't control himself. So he has rage and anger issues. So time for the mad little boy to grow up and get his own apartment.
Get his own place. That's right.
Yeah. So, I don't. That feels like an abused language.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Like, I need to take care. I need to make sure he's okay, to keep him calm.
Right. While I do this big thing.
Yeah. While I go over here and do all the adult stuff, I need to keep him calm.
That's right.
And I'm worried about him. Yeah. Even I love him, even though I don't. And that's all abused language. Abuse language.
So, Megan, you need to get yourself a excellent attorney who will walk things through with you. You need to get a couple of women in your life that will walk through this with you, and you can bounce decisions off of. Get a good pastor or a counselor that can walk with you. You're going to need some support here, and you trying to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, including where he's going to live and how he's going to eat and what kind of car he's going to drive. You're taking on too much. Taking on too much.
When someone leaves and you call them the ex-husband, it's because they're not the husband anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
That's why we call them ex.
Your responsibility for how they choose to live and eat is no more.
Exes used to be, not anymore.
Right.
Your problem now.
Over.
That's what that means. So it's a clear line there of your responsibility. Like when he walks out the door with the suitcases, that line is following him.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's going to follow him as he drives down the street, like some kind of a bad Progressive commercial or something, right? But yeah, and that's okay. That's where your line of responsibility ends, is right at his butt as he leaves.
So let's take him out of the picture. Mom needs to just simply circle back to the baby steps, right? Now she's got her, and she doesn't say how many kids. So let's say she's got 2 kids, and she makes $50,000. Then she needs to say, "Can I afford this home on $50,000? Can I afford the 4 walls, bills, and transportation and food? Can I take care of my necessities as I make this transition?" And I would even go as far to say, you need to take care of yourself if you're not safe, whether or not you can afford that house. It might mean that you got to move to an apartment for a season.
And that house gets sold.
That's right.
Yeah. So here's the last part of that, and that's where I was going to, is I'm going to make the number up, but I'm not far off. As I have worked over 30 years with these situations where there's a divorce, mom wants, the lady wants to stay in the home. In this case, she makes the same amount of money. Usually she makes less, statistically.
Right.
Okay? Not saying that's right or wrong. It is wrong,
Just
actually. If she does less, she should make less. But if she does the same, she ought to make the same. So anyway, she's got the same amount of money here, but the household income is getting ready to be cut in half. The kids' world is rocked because of the marriage ending. Dad's not going to be in the house. The kids' world is rocked. And I need to provide a safe place, stable environment for my kids. I don't want to give them any more change than the change that's already occurring. So I don't want their school or their friends or their bedroom to be upset. So I'm going to keep a house I can't afford.
Right.
And I got to tell you, that happens a lot.
It does.
And instead of you getting a fresh start after this you're starting in the hole after this. But now, it may not be the case. It may be you can afford the house. It's okay. But John's advice there to where you say, I'm going to really look at the budget and decide, can I afford on my income to keep this house? Otherwise, the house needs to be sold as part of the divorce.
Here's what it is. I want to prop up this picture of family life.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna cut him out of it, but I'm gonna keep this picture propped up.
Yep.
And you need to know when you file for divorce, everything's different.
Yeah.
That old picture is over.
And those kids are not better off in a house you can't afford
in your stress
in their old bedroom
that's right.
than they are in a brand new apartment that you can afford, and your stress level is way down and you can be emotionally present for them because you're not crying over the bills after they go to bed every night.
That new environment can help them actually make a psychological shift that now we're in a new world. That's actually helpful sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
the visual of that's not bad.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's
sorry,
not always the best thing to keep the house.
Yeah.
It's not. Sometimes it's okay. Most of the time, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So you're not telling you have to sell it, but I'm telling you got to put it on the table that that's a possibility.
And I'm heartbroken for you, Megan.
Yeah, that's an awful situation.
We'll be thinking about you.
Awful. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Shane on Facebook says, can you distinguish the difference between enabling and helping?
Yeah. Helping helps and enabling enables. I think.
Oh, wow. Did you go to school for that?
Yeah, that was an entire class I paid for, $900 an hour. If I'm helping somebody, I am walking alongside them as they get better. They improve their life. They get closer towards their goal. Enabling makes me feel better, not them. Right, so enabling helps me think I'm doing something. It makes me feel like I'm doing something to support somebody. But they're actually not only not benefiting from it, their life is getting worse because of my participation in their life.
Enabling is a drunk gets a drink.
Right.
He feels better, and you think you helped, but you didn't. You harmed.
Helping is I'm going to pick you up and go to AA with you the first meeting.
Helping is I'm going to embrace the suck with you, and we're going to go together and get this thing mess straightened up. And so but enabling feels like you did something, you called it helping, but it allowed the person to continue in the destructive behavior.
Enabling's for me, helping's for them. Maybe that's the best way to say that.
Helping is often labeled as tough love. Yeah. Enabling is often labeled as love by the person who's getting the gift that shouldn't be getting it.
That's right.
That was good. All right.
I feel better now.
I do too. I feel totally helped. I wasn't enabled at all.
I feel enabled, but thanks.
I wasn't enabled, but it didn't happen. Not right here on the air. This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. Right here on the debt-free stage is none other than Gary and Jill. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Well, we're honored to have you. Where do you guys live?
So we're from Alexandria, Virginia, right outside of D.C.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Nashville. We brought the sun out for you today.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a nice day out there if you're a duck in this rain. But, oh, my gosh, welcome. So down here to do a debt-free scream, how much you paid off?
$658,311.
Whoa! How long did this take?
6 years.
All right, I love this. And your range of income during this time?
$142,000 and $272,000.
Cool. What do you guys do for a living?
So I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a certified public accountant and owner of Stored Solutions.
Ah, very good, very good. So, what do you teach?
I teach first grade with DCPS right in Washington D.C. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You've had a boring last 24 months.
Oh
haven't
yeah,
you?
I've been really bored.
Wow.
Well, the kids have never been the problem. It was always the parents and the administrators. That's the only people we've ever had to worry about. But yeah, way to go, you guys. Very cool. All right, I'm guessing with these numbers, $658,000 and 6 years, you paid off your house.
I wish.
Oh no!
No, they're in D.C. 600,000 is a garage apartment, right?
Yeah,
No.
you can't buy much with $650 in D.C.
I know, but I thought oh no, what? Gee.
What'd you do, Richard? What'd you do?
I mean,
What
we
in
had
the
cars, a line of credit on our home. $218,000 was credit cards. $162,000 was student loans, and then just a bunch of like miscellaneous debt.
Wait, you're a CPA. You had $200,000 in credit card debt?
It was bad.
Explain this to America.
We were
I mean,
having
like,
a lot of fun. And thankfully,
Until we weren't.
Until we weren't.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
our lifestyle was out of control, and like you said, 80% of building wealth is behavior, and our behaviors were out of whack with our
income.
Our income, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Okay, so how long have y'all been married?
This will be 7 years in
Oh.
June. Yeah.
So you did this mess before marriage, really?
Yes.
We had 2 messes, and then
Then
we
we
made
made
one
them
big
one.
mess when we got married.
Oh,
That's holy
we
matrimony.
consolidated our
beautiful.
mess.
It was really nice.
That's so beautiful.
So sweet. Yeah, it's so romantic.
Yeah. Very special.
And I mean, you guys get married, and it's like you must have been thinking everything's great, and then all of a sudden you're like 1 year in, and you're like, "Holy crap!"
Well, so when did you
Tell
realize
me.
the house
I
was
don't
on fire?
want to put words in your mouth. Tell us what happened.
That's pretty much what happened. So we got married in June of 2015. Then we continued our frivolous lifestyle for about 6 months and going on vacations and just kind of doing whatever we wanted, having fun being the the goal, which we did. But then we started to merge our finances 6 months later, and Gary actually, came to me and was like, "This is really a problem. We have way too much debt," and I was not agreeing with him. I was like, this is normal. Everyone has student loans. Everyone has cars. Everyone uses credit cards.
credit card debt.
And
Yeah.
that was that was bad. But
All right, Gary, I'll
yeah.
give you $200,000 in credit card, but listen.
Right, I'll give him that. Yeah, I was like, that is bad. But I was like a big mile person, so I'm like, well, think of how many miles we're I was bad. So
We'll give us our own airplane.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Gary brought financial peace to me. It took me a little while to get on board, but when he, he was really the leader of merging our finances, because I'm like, I don't want to talk about money. I don't want to do it. You're the accountant. You're the CPA.
Make this go away, Gary.
Yeah, just fix it.
Come on,
That's
Gary.
what you do.
You have the degree. Fix it.
Right, I don't know. I
Just
teach first
fix
grade
it.
math.
I love
That's a
you.
little
You're
basic.
amazing.
Hold
This
on,
is
hold on.
awesome.
You teach first
This is
grade
so
math.
awesome.
Right.
And you're a CPA.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had $600,000 in just consumer debt.
Exactly.
This is incredible.
So I'm trying to help the little people now. I have a whole lesson about it. But yeah, so then he laid it all out for me.
So you went through financial peace at a church together?
So actually, I read the Total Money Makeover book first, and
right.
that really just blew my mind. And then I was hooked on everything right from there. And then I found the at-home financial peace.
Oh, okay.
It was actually DVDs.
Yeah.
And
back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. Convinced her to.
Back in 2015 when people had DVD players, yeah.
Kind of convinced her to, go through the program with me, and we kind of eased into it. It was not I wish it was right away, but it took us probably the first 12 to 18 months of the 6-year journey to really click and get on the same page. And
what was your best fight?
Oh, probably cutting the credit card. I feel like I really couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, that was.
Or
we
having a
had
car
28
payment.
credit cards.
28?
Yeah, and
it was bad. Yeah.
When we started doing this debt snowball, and
You are giving America hope.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. We just want to give everyone
we started paying them off.
If
and
you
cutting them
guys
up,
can
but-
do this By God, anybody can do it. That's amazing. I love you.
The psychology behind the last one, getting her
last
to
one.
agree
That
to cut
was
up that last one.
I was like,
and
can't we
then-
just keep one just
I've
in
had
case?
people. I used to cut them up on the stage after an event and sign books for hours, and I've had people cry. They would just weep when we would cut up the. Men
probably
cry
weeping.
when they cut up their
I was
credit cards. Yeah.
probably weeping.
It's just like I've had this card since I was in college, like it's an old girlfriend.
yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah.
oh my God. Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh man, you guys are fun. I'm so proud of you because what you've done is so big. It's so Herculean. And so there had to be a moment in time. So you said it took about a year, 18 months to get real serious and get it dialed in. And then we're like, cut that last card. Now we're game on. And then there had to be another moment where the momentum shifted and you went like, hey, we're going to win this. Where was that?
I mean, so our debt snowball had like 54 items on it.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of
Yeah.
debt.
28 credit cards.
Yeah. I think once, like after the first 2 years and we got like a third of the way through the list, momentum started picking up and we started doing stuff that, like working side jobs and selling stuff out of the house. And about that time, I got my CPA license, so I started doing, tax returns, and I joined Ramsey Preferred Coaching and started coaching other people how to win with money. And it was really cool to, do something I was passionate about, but use that side income to speed up our progress.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Well, and you got a story. I mean, you can tell people that story. It's like me telling a story going broke. I mean, it's like, hey, I know you think your $26,000 in credit card debt is bad, but let me just tell you. I can tell you about that.
So have you had the moment where your teacher check and your business check is deposited and
no payments?
You have no payments?
Yeah, we have
so nice.
we have a mortgage, but we don't have any
Yeah.
consumer debt payments.
That's
Yeah.
wild,
Way to go,
huh?
you
It
guys.
looks great.
You guys are amazing. You're such a powerful thing
That's
you've
incredible.
done.
Yeah, and it was-
I mean, it's such an extreme transformation.
Yeah.
When we first got married, and she just threw the finances at me and was like, "Here you go." And
fun.
I had a lot of stress and anxiety because I was living and breathing it every day, and put a lot of weight on me. And just to have her agree to come in with me and work together and share the burden with me, the last 6 years, it really helped our marriage and made us closer.
Yeah. Awesome. Powerful guys.
Congratulations, y'all, too.
Very, very powerful. Well, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. You're going to be there before you know it. You can do this. You can do anything, man. This is so amazing. So amazing. And you're a neat couple. And thanks for letting us cry with you there for a moment because it just takes your breath away. But what you've done is amazing. That's the story, is the size of the mountain you climbed. All right, to $658,000 paid off in 6 years. Of that, over $200,000 in credit card debt, making $142 to $272. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2,
2, 1.
1. We're debt free!
Yeah! Woo!
Wow.
You are free. I love it.
No more excuses, America. They just took them away from you.
Ding, ding. You thought you couldn't do it. They did it. There it is. Our scripture of the day, James 14:4. You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Lillian Dixon said, life is like a coin. You can spend it any way you wish, but you can only spend it once. How you going to do it? What are you going to do? This is the Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Leanne is in Canada. Hi, Leanne. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Great. How can we help?
Well, thank you, first of all, for taking my call.
Sure.
My husband's actually an avid daily listener and follower of your plan, and he got me hooked on it by playing the podcast on our honeymoon last year.
and then gave me the total money makeover as a light beach read.
He's like a real romantic
That
guy.
is the least romantic honeymoon I've ever heard of.
That's awful.
It actually was. It was a great way to start our marriage, so it worked out nice.
Very good. It must have been
so we
episodes
have-
that me and George were on. Go ahead.
Oh, there you go. So we have no debt besides our house, which we owe about $330,000 on. We made it our personal goal to try to pay it off within 5 years if possible. And then we bought it in 2019, so we have about 3 years left if we are to fulfill our goal. We have a fully funded emergency fund right now, but my question is about a decision that I have to make primarily by the 10th of March. Right now, I'm a 23-year-old licensed practical nurse who, I signed up for school online to get my registered nurse through a university in Alberta. I'm finishing 3 courses by the end of March and need to sign up for the new courses by the 10th. I have about 2 years of full-time school left if I'm to continue. The issue is that I unfortunately got fired due to the mandates up here in Canada and could potentially lose my nursing license. And I'm not really sure what the future of nursing is going to hold in the next few years, so to speak. So I don't know if it's going to be worth it for me to keep taking the courses, if I should work hard at them now or casually, or even if I should be taking them at all. Because we're able to cash flow my courses with my husband's income and then a little bit of my own. But I'm not totally sure if we'll be able to reach our goal of paying off the house that soon if I do school on top of it.
So
I guess
I'm not familiar with the overarching issues are the details, I should say, of why you were fired. But I'm guessing that you chose medical freedom. You wanted to decide what happens with you, and they said you have to do something regarding COVID that you didn't want to do.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and is that an industry-wide thing? I mean, you said take your nursing license because you choose not to be vaccinated. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. So that's a potential that they've sort of been rumoring around.
Oh,
and I
okay.
won't know that until probably the 24th of March is when they're expecting to roll out that mandate if it
The
does
government?
happen. Yeah.
Is they? Yeah.
Yeah. And our
The
our head college, if they're
totalitarianism of
gonna
that
obey
is just shocking.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they would lose the force they would. I mean, I've been surprised before, so.
Well, they've lost their entire trucking industry.
Yeah.
On the same exact issue.
Yeah.
They shut the trucking industry down because truckers they're not working in Canada because of this exact same thing. And if all the nurses or if a portion of the nurses don't work now, and they're willing to do that on the issue of a vaccine or on the issue of the power is really what it is.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, wow. Well, medical freedom is a big deal. Being able to make your own choices is a big deal. So I think I'm hearing woven into this narrative that you're saying, if that's how it's going to be, I'm not in nursing.
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of my overarching.
Yeah, they're not
Back of
going.
my
You're not
mind.
going to acquiesce, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you've got to choose a different career, and until you know that, I wouldn't spend a bunch of money on further classes. I'd complete the ones you're in, and you can restart the classes next semester, can't you? If this blows over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could technically, and it does work with the online system that I could start them sort of anytime. But the one issue is because I'm signed up in the courses already, it's a program that times out in, I think it's 7 years.
Okay.
And I
Well,
started
if you
last
want
September.
let me ask you this, because I don't know how this works in your particular situation, but most colleges, most universities have a drop ad system that there's so many days into the course you can drop it and get a full refund, right?
Okay.
Could you sign up for it, and how many days down into March or into April can you still drop that course and get your money back?
Yeah, check with your advisor on that. And you I mean, this what's the term here? I don't know what this is in Canada. Is it 3 years for the program? You have 2 years left. I'm sorry, you have 2 years left?
Yeah.
Okay,
About that.
and you've got a 7-year clock. You're not going to hit that clock. You're going to be fine.
Okay.
I think you're fine there. I heard another issue, which is this. You and your husband have been gung-ho, gazelle intense, and you created this plan, this idea that we're going to have this thing paid off in day X. And that is, let's take the mandates off the table for a second. And you want to get it paid off here, and you want to complete your nursing degree.
Well, it was actually going to cause them to be able to pay it off because when she completes that, her pay will go up.
It'll go up. That's right. So it's 6 1/2 dozen another. I think you have a long-term play. So take the mandates out. If it's just staying in school, I'd rather see you go to school and finish this program. Your pay will go way up, especially over the long term.
If you stay in nursing, it will.
That's right.
If you don't lose your license, it will.
And I'd rather you pay your house off maybe a year later than your plan that y'all made up over dinner one night than to pause and put yourself 3 or 4 years behind making some major bank if you stay in nursing, of course.
Yeah. So, what I would do is see if your drop add date, that's what I call it from the old school, your ability to drop the class and get a full refund on this next semester, if it is far enough out that you will have news about your license before then. I think you know that you're in an unfriendly environment for the near term, even if they don't take your license. Agreed?
Yes, agreed.
And so you may make a decision on nursing in general based on that, too. And I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that, you've got the long term, okay, I'm out of the business because they're going to take my license or they're going to mandate this from now on, and I'm not willing to do it. So I got to have another career. Boom, I'm out. Peace out. I'm not doing this.
Right.
You're not going to violate my medical freedom with totalitarianism. I'm going to vote with my feet. I'm out. Peace out. If that's the case, you're already out.
Right. You're out.
If you think that this will subside, this political pressure will subside, and you can get back to being a nurse without being vaccinated and protect your medical freedoms sometime in the future, then you would stay on this track. And that's a judgment I can't make because I don't know what the flip's going on anywhere, much less in Canada.
Right. So let me point this out, Dave, and I've had this call on my show several times. Once you decide I'm out, I will not let somebody tell me what to do with my body. I'm out. Let that be the day you stop stewing about it and use that energy to go do something else.
Yeah.
Right? You've made your call. You've made your decision. Yeah. Then talking about it every day, being angry about it for the next 6 months is just choosing to live shorter.
It's that's true if you quit any job.
That's exactly right. Anything, any marriage, any relationship,
I don't
anything.
like what's going on in this company. I quit.
And as soon as you walk out the door,
then keep going.
Dust your sandals off and
keep
go, man.
Going.
Yeah,
just keep going. Just keep going.
You don't get any more space in my head.
It doesn't do any good for you to constantly be looking in your rearview mirror and go, well, back. Because I got fired when I was 23, and I don't know why I got fired. I probably deserved it, but the guy just said, pack your effing stuff in this effing box and get the F out of my office now. And I went, yes, sir.
You should have showered, Dave.
That was it. And, I have no idea what I did, but I probably deserved it. I mean, I was a 23 little fart,
But still being mad about it now,
but
does
I'm
it
not,
help anything?
It was like, I dust my sandals off. Next thing.
That's right.
I'm not, apparently he had a problem. It's like, goodness gracious, right?
You got to bathe, Dave. You got to bathe.
Got to bathe. I got to shower. Got to brush those teeth. Got to brush that tooth.
Brush the teeth.
Brush that tooth.
That tooth.
That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.